Starlite Originals is the world's leading innovator in fine art mixed media sculpture. For over 3 decades, Starlite's family-run foundry, located in Los Angeles, California, has prided itself on creating one-of-a-kind, handcrafted works of art. Using the same casting techniques employed by skilled Roman artisans centuries ago, combined with proprietary innovations in mixed media, lucite, and metal embedment, Starlite Originals is able to portray the artist's vision in a way never seen before. I'm Natalie Beckerman, and thank you for your interest in Starlite Originals. Many of today's most accomplished American artists have come to Starlite to help bring their artistic vision to life in stunning and vivid three-dimensional sculpture. As the originators of mixed media, Starlite has had the pleasure of collaborating with many distinguished contemporary artists over the last 40 years. While people immediately appreciate the beauty of a Starlite sculpture and can recognize its craftsmanship, the process involved in creating a single sculpture is really quite extraordinary, and nothing you can compare or find elsewhere in today's world of mass production. Creating each individual piece is a very delicate, labor-intensive, and time-consuming process, and the use of modern machinery is very little. These sculptures are truly made by hand. The process begins with the artist's original sculpture created out of a soft clay. In order to protect this fragile original, Starlite's master mold makers work to create a resin or hard copy master, used to create the subsequent casting molds. The creation of the master mold is in itself an art form, a technique perfected over hundreds of years. After each step in the mold making process, the mold is carefully checked for detail and accuracy by our quality inspector. If any details are missing or imperfections detected, the mold is destroyed and the process must begin again. With the final mold pieces complete, the chosen metal is then molten and carefully poured into the cavities of the mold. The metal is then allowed to cool and harden. Each mold is used for only a limited number of castings in order to maintain to the detail of the artist's original sculpt. Each sculpture is created one at a time. After each piece is carefully cleaned and assembled, a delicate process of hand chasing begins, helping to ensure that the piece looks exactly as the artist created it. This chasing or hand tooling is again an art in itself, performed by the foundry's skilled craftsmen. Depending on the mold, the chasing process can take anywhere from several hours up to 3 days. Once the pieces have been meticulously tooled, they are then carefully welded together. While many people think the rich, vibrant colors of these sculptures are achieved only through paint, they are actually a combination of many different techniques, including oxidation, patina, plating, and painting. The metal is first oxidized to bring out the beautiful detail sculpted by the artist. After oxidation, each piece is hand-painted or treated with various patinas to achieve the final look the artist envisioned. Starlite's trained artisans have spent the last 40 years developing new and exciting techniques in order to produce sculptures with unparalleled color and detail. If the sculpture is envisioned to be a purely mixed media metal sculpture, the piece is mounted onto a base and goes through the quality control process yet again. However, very often the sculpture is embellished with the addition of lucite, which is a hallmark of our foundry. Adding lucite as part of the final sculpture makes the mixed media process much more involved and difficult. Lucite is very delicate and sensitive to work with. It is a living, breathing material, and the process of working with lucite is much like the transformation of turning carbon into a cut, polished, and sparkling diamond. Starlite's process of suspending metal elements into the acrylic lucite is very unique, and Starlite is one of the only companies in the world producing this type of fine art sculpture. As with Starlite's stringent selection of metals, only the very highest grade Lucite material is used. The end result is optical perfection. First, new molds must be created specifically for the sculpture's Lucite elements. The Lucite, cloudy in its raw form, is gently poured into the molds in a clean room chamber. The liquid Lucite is filled to the prescribed depth of the first embedment and allowed to cool to a jello-like consistency. Then, subsequent layers and the metal elements are added, creating the illusion of the elements suspended organically in the Lucite. This is a very delicate, time-consuming, and complicated process of layers. The filled mold is then placed into an oven, where it is carefully heated for 24 hours. Even a rainy day can alter these precise, necessary controls, causing the sculpture to be ruined. Once removed from the oven, the piece has rough, sharp corners that must be removed by hand to ensure no detail is lost. Similar to the metal chasing process, our skilled artisans make sure that the artist's original vision for the piece is not lost. Next begins the extremely labor-intensive process of multiple wet sanding, polishing, and sandblasting, which brings the glass-like finish and quality to the sculpture. Each piece passes through multiple grades of sand belts in order to ensure a smooth, soft surface to the touch. Once each side is perfectly sanded, it is then hand-polished in a 3-step process. Each step of the polish process brings to life the beauty within the piece. It often takes an entire day to buff and polish just one sculpture. A final quality inspection is performed to check for any imperfections. With the final mixed media sculpture complete, the artist's original signature is then engraved and the sculpture is numbered according to the edition. It is then carefully placed in 100% recyclable packaging. I hope you've enjoyed this personal tour of our foundry and this exciting art form. Each piece is a unique collaboration between the artists and our craftsmen who help bring their vision to life. Starlite Originals mixed media fine art sculptures can be found in galleries and private collections around the world, and we're pleased to donate a portion of our proceeds to several nonprofit organizations. As you can see, they truly are works of art.